double think clouds your mind. If you walk that road, you'll be left behind, like swaying branches in the air, lost in confusion, filled with despair. Arguments and fallacies taken from the book of lies and deceit. There are those who will never see the gift of Logos that was given to me. And I know how water flows, and I know what level shows. You'll be wasting your time trying to change what's been defined. I know what I know. I know what I know. You don't know what you don't know. Blackpool paradox. You think it's measuring, but it's not. It's optical phenomenon. All you fools think you know what's beyond. I know how water flows, and I know what level shows, and you'll be wasting your time trying to change what's been defined. I know how water flows, and I know what level shows, and you'll be wasting your time trying to change what's been defined.
Horizon means the line where the sky meets the earth. Yeah, that's the definition I'm going by.
All horizontals are parallel to the
finish,
plane of the horizon. And we are live. Welcome, everybody. It is Thursday, so it's Euclid night, but I mean, we're a bit late. Sorry about that. I have to go to my son's award ceremony. Did all right. He got an award for computer science. Dead awkward. He wasn't expecting it.
Well done.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
He didn't know what to do, like up on stage, like.
Wow.
So
cool.
Yeah, I mean that's why we're a bit late.
Good lad.
And because of that, we've not really got much to talk about other than some of the things that have been going on. I think let me get this. I've got a GIF here. Maybe it might be a good idea to keep it on the screen. This one here. States. This is what I'm going to call the argument. And then we're going to use this as a method for teaching people what an argument is. It's not shouting at people, not shouting at each other, calling people names, dangling the balls in the face or anything like that. It's a system of you laying out words together in sentences in a structured manner in order for you to use a little brain power to come up with a conclusion at the end. Now, this one that we've got here is it's that simple, this argument. You don't even need to give everybody the conclusion. You can do it yourself. And this argument specifically was developed because a group of people said that we didn't understand. So in order for us to show people that we do understand, we've developed this thing that everybody can understand instinctively. It's I call this is a gift from Logos. Logos gave us this, gave us the chance to be able to do this. And it's quite simple. States if all horizontal planes are parallel to the plane of the horizon, then all horizontal planes are parallel to one another. Very, very simple argument. It's if then. It follows exactly the antecedent consequent. The if and the then. The if implies the then. And it implies it in a way that you can show that. There are Euclidean propositions that you can show people that exactly why this follows directly, like within a proof, within the foundations of the mathematical process that everybody knows. So all you have to do in order to establish this as an argument is you come to a conclusion. Now, the conclusion is told to you within the if-then statement of the argument. The conclusion comes once you can affirm the if statement in this particular case. So if all horizontal planes are parallel to the plane of the horizon, now that has to be checked. And how would you check that? Well, you would have to establish a horizontal. So you would need a tool that establishes a horizontal. Then you could go and check the horizon, at least the true horizon, with one of these tools. And if one of them matches the other, then you can affirm the statement all horizontal planes are parallel to the plane of the horizon. That is becomes a statement of truth then. It takes it out of the if, and you can say yes, they are. And you could say that until somebody says, well, wait a minute, look at this one here. And that one would then be called the black swan. That's how that the falsification process works through science. What's known as modern science. Karl Popper established the falsification method within science, and he called it the black swan. You establish the outlier from the original statement. But nobody has ever done that. That's why you can safely say, as a statement of fact, all horizontals are parallel to the plane of the horizon, as defined within every dictionary and throughout mathematics. A horizontal is a straight line. Now, because of this statement, maybe because of the statements put together called an argument, maybe because we've been going over basic logic, maybe just because I'm saying it, there are a group of people that have to go against it. They have to say that that is a untruth, or there's something wrong with that argument. That's the argument.
There is nothing wrong with this argument, because horizontal is established by a tool. And we know that this is a horizontal plane. So you cannot argue against that. But only way to argue is to undermine this statement that horizon is a plane. But we can see that this line of the horizon is straight. It means that this line is lying on the plane of the horizon. That's why we know that the horizon is a plane. This horizon line is lying on the horizon plane because it is straight. So for me, it definitely resolves this problem, because both we have horizontal plane established by a tool and plane of the horizon established, or which can be seen with our naked eye as a line on the horizon plane. So I think it is irrefutable.
Yeah, it's simply called the argument because it's as simple as you can make an argument to be able to teach people about argumentation, how these things are set out, and how, if you were to have a debate, these are the sort of issues that you would be bringing up in a proper debate where you make an argument and put an argument forth. I mean, it's a very, very simple argument with very few points to argue against. There's never been a rebuttal made by anybody about the argument. They just have to try and use their sophistry to get around it. And the whole point of this is that it doesn't matter what conclusions I come to. This is an argument. This is meant to be a process that goes on within your mind. It's up to you to do the work. We can just lay out the argument. Is there a winner or a loser within a debate, or is the argument the subject of the discussion? I say that the argument should be, and round here it is, the subject of the discussion is the argument, not anything else, any means to get around that. There's no ECV round here. You have to face your demons. And we do it through argumentation, through stuff like this. And hopefully we do it as simply as possible. We've got a marvelous thing going on with music at the minute. That's going to fascinate me for years. Like, that literally is being able to explain that simply is one of the best tasks there is ever going to be. And in order for us to do it, we need the foundations set for how we describe geometrical things. And since this, you could say, is the very physical nature of geometry, this is physics. The physics of geometry, is it? What do you
Yes,
think?
it is. It is description of physical reality. Geometry is has to be like part of physics because it is describing physics,
Yeah. And it
physical
would
world.
involve as definitely one of the senses, that of sound, hearing. Right? Directly through music and geometry combined, you can definitely apply one of the senses, the hearing, to hear that the notes are similar, right? Certain people have got better trained ears than others, namely me. But you can see the nature of geometry built into the physical structure of music. It's not conceptual. Euclidean geometry is far from conceptual. It is a way to describe reality perfectly.
Yes, physical reality. So if we are talking about, for example, borders of a square, we can establish these borders on physical objects. So we can build, for example, cube, and this cube will be existent in reality. It means that it is reality. It has to be.
Yeah. Yeah, J-Ro's been doing some marvelous pictures, geometric structures to do with music. I'm hoping it's groundbreaking, hoping it's new. Inspired from this server, from Buster. Thank you, Buster. He's not around this week. But, man, what did he start us off on? Amazing. So, what I'm trying to say is that because this argument is existential, it is real, it does exist. Not only does the argument exist, but the way and means of proving the argument to be a truth statement also exist. It's all based upon reality, and it can be checked and verified by anybody.
Yes, horizontals exist, can be established. If they were not existent, it means that, for example, surveyor is establishing nothing. So he cannot do his job. So definitely he establishes something. And plane of horizon is real and can be seen by naked eye. So this is reality because what we see is real.
Yeah.
For me, this is very simple.
Quite simply, it's a perfect argument. That's why we call it the argument, because you can check it and verify it yourself, and it needs no more to be said other than just the argument. I mean, imply of what you will from that, but you can't get away from the facts of that.
Yes, you can apply what you will, but there is only one conclusion that would be true. So it is affirming. That kind of proof is apodictive. It means that, or demonstrable proof. So this is demonstrable proof for horizontals being parallel to the plane of horizon and to each other. So this is irrefutable proof unless you can disprove plane of horizon. So this is the only way within this argument to disprove. You have to disprove a plane of horizon, that this is not a plane, for example. But this is not possible this black swan cannot happen. So I think that this is irrefutable argument, and therefore solid and firm, undeniable, and so on.
Yeah, simple. Call it the argument. Try and come up with a simpler argument to try and show somebody. I call this one a modus ponens, because you are affirming, not denying with the modus tollens. This one is a positive logical argument where you affirm the truth statement, but you still come to the conclusion. It's a process, right? Because you derive all horizontals being parallel from
yes,
it.
you cannot deny this.
Yeah.
Horizontals being parallel, this is pretty much axiomatic. So you cannot deny that.
Mhm.
The only way that you can deny only the link between horizontal and horizon. This is the only way. If you can prove that horizon is not a plane, then this argument is falling, because horizon being not a plane means that it cannot be parallel to horizon, which is straight. But it is impossible to prove that, because we see that horizon is this line of horizon where sky is meeting water is straight line. So never been seen otherwise.
There's that other logical argument that somebody once laid out, but they called it a black swan. I don't know, rather weird way to go around it. This one is called, I name this the argument. I have to keep saying it. And it's very simple. It is a positive argument where the conclusion doesn't even need to be said. It's said within the argument. It's an if then. You affirm the if, then the conclusion comes. There's a lot of people that are very put off when they hear this argument. And it makes them say a lot of very strange things. Like this guy in the chat at the minute. He's trying to talk about lights in the sky. They get scared. This is where ECV came around, the existential cognitive veiling, right? Because this is born from reality. This argument, I personally, skimming through Euclid, because I had to learn geometry, because somebody said not Euclidean geometry was how you got straight lines to bend. I thought I best really have a look into Euclidean geometry. So thanks to that, the fighter he is, he fights flat earth. That guy, he was the one that led me to look at Euclidean geometry, because he said some stupid shit. So I actually bought a Euclid book thanks to him. And then skimming through that, I saw within that book, I think, a secret. It's a code. It's a way to dispel magic tricks. With learning the foundations of geometry stops you from taking in any bullshit. It's impenetrable. And within that, one of the propositions, I saw if two straight lines are parallel to the same straight line, then those two lines are parallel to each other. gave me the chance to make this argument stating known facts of reality. And then logic gave us the knowledge, the wisdom to be able to know what the argument can do. Because once that logic is placed within your mind, you can't get rid of it. There's a reason mathematics is stated around logic, because the truth of the matter cannot be denied. When you have a logical system that is perfect, there is no breaking it. You can't not that. You can't just say no, not that, because it's fully provable every step of the way, as is this argument. The paper said there's only one way you can get around this, and that's to deny that there is a plane of the horizon. But plane is very geometric, and yes, since horizontal is derived from the horizon, the totality of the horizon, the very plane, that's how you physically describe the plane.
Yeah, this is from this line. So because you cannot deny argument or proof, because it is axiomatic, based on axiom. So you cannot deny, or you shouldn't deny first principles of reasoning, but some people try to deny this horizon part, but then they have to deny their senses, sight sense, to be precise, because we can see that the horizon is a straight line, this border, this limit of our vision in the water is straight line. So if someone is saying that this is not straight line, it means that he is doing some photographic trick, or just denying senses. So, and it means that he is mad.
Yes, and which is why we've started this week off, and I've been talking a lot about paralogisms. Now, I think Betty tried to define paralogisms. I don't know whether we went over it or whether we've gone over it in the Discord. But we have the proofless globe logician, Betty. Now, he's had a little bit of a break, and he's back again, documenting all of the shows that we do. So whenever we talk about anything to do with logic, Betty sort of timestamps everything, and then likes to comment on it. He quotes it and then comments on it.
So and we are under heavy fire.
I think, was it this morning? It might have been this morning. I was talking to I was talking to Skeptical this morning, so let me have a look, see if we can go over a few of these. I think it's these two. Yes, right. So let me just set this up, right? So a paralogism, in my eyes, because I don't want to call anybody else's ideas of this, and whenever you talk about these things, these words, they have to have a definition, and that definition has to mean something. So when I talk about these words, I'll give you my definition of them, and then we can be absolutely certain what I'm talking about when I say this. So when I'm talking about a paralogism, I'm talking about any reason or any way that you can come to a faulty conclusion. right? Within a statement, logical form or whatever. It may not even be logical. It may just be a handed out statement from a shadow giant, right? But it then has to go in and be thought of as a truth. That's, for me, what a paralogism is. It's an accepted faulty conclusion. And there is no way for anybody to reason that. And you can always tell what a paralogism is if you ask somebody about it and they cannot answer a simple question, then you know what they're holding is what we term as a paralogism. It's something that they have no backstory for. There is no antecedent. There is just the conclusion. That's what I personally call a paralogism. So, going into that, where we go with this. This is Betty commenting on a video. Obviously, we were talking about paralogisms, and we were 8 minutes in. And Betty seems to have done this. So Betty quotes me saying, a paralogism is a faulty conclusion that you've come to and that you've accepted that as a truth statement. So he's like quoting me stating that. I probably would have said more about it like I just did, but he's particularly snipped that bit out, which I'd agree with. That's what I think a paralogism is. A faulty conclusion. So he says that's not correct, the statement. He says a paralogism is faulty reasoning. Reasoning being a series of statements, premises, ending in an implied conclusion. The reasoning is faulty, aka invalid, when the premises do not imply the conclusion. Please get the basics right. He's getting caught up in the structure and the form of the logic, right? And
Yes.
not he's sort of implying reasoning into the words, isn't he?
He is, yes, because he is right and wrong. Yes, because logism is reasoning. So our process, this proof, is reasoning. This is reasoning. So if you say that if all horizontals, etc., this is reasoning. So this is reasoning and, for example, syllogism or proof, they are the same, basically. But he is talking about invalid premises leading to conclusion. But and in this case, what he is showing, that would be non sequitur. But
that's also a form of paralogism, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
That's why I said that he is right and wrong, but because he is reducing in his statement paralogism to non sequitur statement, but it has wider meaning, and what you are saying is inside this wider meaning, because paralogism is just logism that is looking like reasoning, good
it's
reasoning,
pretending.
but it is not.
Yeah.
Yes, it is pretending in many ways. So you may be faulty in many ways.
Yeah,
And
you've
he's
got
showing.
what you've got to think is it within the parallel world scenario, right? Now in logic there are rules, within this parallel world conception of taking things. But paralogism is logic that happens in a parallel universe. It's a completely separate. Paralogism isn't a logism. It's
this prefix para means like or similar to or apparent.
yeah.
Better to say apparent. Seems to be logism, but it is not. Like paradox seems to be true, but it is not true. So this prefix para means likely or apparently or allegedly, or maybe best would be allegedly truth. So this is this prefix para, looks like, but only in appearance, but inside it is not.
So what Betty's trying to do is, Betty's trying to say, no, here is a paralogism that it's different than the one that you're talking about. Whereas I'm trying to say, as a whole, that the paralogism has to be accepted as a truth. Otherwise, you've noticed the faulty reasoning and not accepted it. So therefore, the actual logic is working well. You've spotted it, but a paralogism has to be accepted through faulty reasoning. All of that has to come into effect with the paralogism, in my view.
So for example, this is sophistry of Bebby, because he is not denying what you said when he's quoting you, but he's narrowing to one non sequitur statement, which is not excluded. You didn't exclude that. So I don't know why he's arguing against you. He has no right to say in the beginning that this is not correct, because you were correct, and he didn't correct you. In his statement, he didn't correct you.
It's pure sophistry, isn't it?
Yes. But for the reader, it would mean or would seem to be a refutation of your statement, but it is not. So he is just narrowing to this paralogism to one non sequitur.
He's passing on a paralogism. Other people can imagine that this is a refutation, right? And then they can say, look, Betty refuted you, but it isn't. It's not real.
Yes, it is not refutation, but this is phrased in such way that some people may suggest themselves that it is.
And that's the whole point of why I call these paralogisms, right? Betty, in his own way, he's exposing exactly how these paralogisms are used. He's making himself into a shadow giant, as we call it. People who just watch this stuff going on. Go on, sorry.
So so you are right, because if someone is, for example, accepting non sequitur, so he is accepting, according to his example, he is accepting false premises, and he therefore someone is accepting a conclusion to be true because he accepted false premises as true premises. So this is that kind of paralogism it would be, because he accepted this conclusion. So basically he's not denying you. You said that in this statement, that I don't know why he is saying that
I'd say
he's refuting.
Yeah, his sophistry can be pointed out, I think, as such. I say a paralogism is a faulty conclusion that you've come to. Now, I meant that as though you've accepted it. It's a you know, the conclusion is you have it, you hold the paralogism, whatever it may be, and however you may have got into it. You know, we can talk about that other times, but he puts a paralogism is a faulty, and he puts little stars around reasoning. So he's going to say that the word conclusion, and he's talk about the reasoning process, but he's then going to do a bit of sophistry within the reasoning and put it into the implied conclusion, where it isn't implied conclusion. It's the reasoning process that gives you the conclusion at the end. It's how you derive the conclusion. And if your conclusion is, yes, I'm going to accept that very words that you're saying as a truth, and I'll just put it here in this truth box, well, that's a paralogism. You've not actually reasoned the actual conclusion. You've just accepted it. You've just received the accepted consensus, the received consensus.
And by the way, reasoning includes conclusion, because he is talking about premises, but whole reasoning ends with a conclusion. This is your goal, to have conclusion. You don't stop on premises. You stop when you have conclusion. So the whole goal of making logism or reasoning is to have conclusion. You will have to end with conclusion. So the conclusion is the most important part. This is our goal, our aim. So I don't know why he is trying to refute you, because
might become apparent. Yeah,
I cannot express that, but this is
pure sophistry, right? You don't even know why he's doing what he's doing. It's just because, like I say, I have this power of being able to say things, and people say really weird things back to me. This is just one of those examples. I feel like I'm living in Alice in Wonderland, sort of crazy place. Because these people are definitely trying to pass on some sort of weird... I don't know whether they live in this sort of place or they're just trying to do it to me. I'd hate to think that they actually do it. It might be some part of some sort of trick or something, but hey, they might just be crazy people.
I think that this is tactic of sophist to catch someone on word, to seemingly win the point, just arguing for arguing.
I think he's got his people on his side who he might be impressing with this, right? Other people he might be able to convince somebody with more sophistry, but it's not working here within the typed word sort of thing. It's not winning us over. But I'll get into the next one, right? Because this is where Betty then sort of, because that was at 8 minutes, right? That's at the beginning. And we're going to work through a bit of Betty's mind, right? Because this is what Betty does. He listens to our shows. I hope you're listening, Betty. Whether it be later in the morning, wherever, it doesn't matter if you too are still listening to this on a repeat or whatever. We don't repeat them. Just go back and watch them. You feel free to do this time-stamping thing that Betty does. So you can go back and check it and go over all of these things. But Betty likes to watch it and then be an intern, sort of document it for us so everybody can go back and see what we do. Feel free to do any of this sort of stuff in the comments of any of the videos. There's some classic clips of people saying some really weird shit, and it's gonna get worse. So I mean, seriously, clip it, whatever, do But do us a favour, timestamp it like Betty does, so anybody else can also go back to the video and watch it and, you know, actually hear it firsthand for themselves so they know exactly what's talking about. So, he says that PO, this line, which appears to be horizontal in the second diagram, and he says, as no one has claimed either line is horizontal, nothing is wrong. So nobody claimed anything about horizontal. So Betty, that's okay for Betty. Oh, it's you, paper, PO.
But he's referring to this blue diagram with parallel verticals and not parallel verticals.
Yeah.
So I am sorry, but this there are two horizontally orientated lines, straight lines, in both diagrams. So if on the left we have verticals, two verticals being parallel and horizontal on the bottom, and on the right diagram we have divergent, allegedly verticals, and the same line, that would be horizontal. So I don't understand why Baby is saying that this line is not defined as being horizontal. Yes, it is. It is. It is the same line as on previous this left diagram. So sorry, he's talking about differently behaving verticals, but horizontals remains the same. So it is horizontal. So it is defined, it is described as horizontal. Or if it is not described as horizontal, it means that on the left diagram, these two verticals are not verticals also, which is nonsense. So sorry, it is horizontal on both diagrams.
Well, he's obviously it's an issue, right? These lines, one that's vertical and one that's horizontal. Yeah, I don't know. He says, again, if it was horizontal, it should be curved. And then this is Betty's comment to that, you know. But no one is saying that the transverse is horizontal or curved. The transverse.
What does it mean?
I think he just means from A to B, doesn't he? Surely that's got to be the straight line, the transverse. It's a straight line. It's established by a line of sight, i.e. straight, between the two positions, and can be at any angle you like. Any angle. What do you mean? What does at any angle reference to what? Betty, like, it doesn't make any sense. And it's the sum of the two angles that's important.
I think that he is referring to this second line, this oblique line beneath, because I found in translation that it would be skew or oblique line, this transverse. So like hypotenuse or whatever, but I don't know. I'm not sure. He's quoting me that if it was horizontal,
it should be curved.
On the right diagram, it should be curved. Yeah. Yes. In their model, it should be curved.
Yeah, the series of horizontal points, if joined together in the globe mind, would form a spherical surface, i.e. a curve.
Yes,
it's a necessity. It has to happen. I mean, Beddy won't say it himself, and you won't find any glober that would say it either, because it's fucking ridiculous. That's
Yes, but
only
this
their
is-
model says it. They don't say it.
But this model dictates that.
Yeah.
So it is inevitable conclusion.
But they can't say it. It's
In their-
catch-22, isn't it?
Yes, but it's still inevitable. So whatever they say, it has to be on their model. If they have divergent verticals, and they have this, what they say, at a point perpendicular.
Blue's
to
saying he
horizontal
never defined any of the lines to be horizontal. He just talking about verticals. He doesn't. Blue, a horizontal comes from a vertical. It is perpendicular to it. If you say vertical, you can say horizontal. You don't have to say horizontal. They're perpendicular to vertical. Everybody knows that.
Yes, perpendicular at a point of intersection means that this point is horizontal. And if you move this horizontal with verticals, you are creating curved horizontal line in your model. Yes, that's inevitable. You cannot avoid that. So what I said, I will keep saying that again. Nothing changes with my statement, because this is conclusion from drawing. That's it. And it doesn't matter if blue marble science will affirm that or deny that. It is following from this picture. Simple.
Yeah. Come on, Blue. Wake up. It doesn't matter what you say. You've made your video. You've made your video. You came to your conclusions. You wrote them down. One of your conclusions was that level wasn't horizontal. Another one was that horizontals weren't parallel. You're going to have to live by them, Blue. We're just talking about Betty at the minute. Your globe proofless, contradictory globe logician, as you'll find out very soon. So, Betty then says, quoting Axiom 12, aka postulate 5, this is perfectly correct and is what the globe model states. Betty thinks the globe model states that you can use the triangle axiom. He's fucking well out of the game here, isn't he, Blue? Should have come over and talk. I've been saying this to WS and the boys for ages now. Everybody that does seem to come over here seems to go slightly crazy. They go mad. They go mad trying to justify a model into reality. And you can't do it. So, yeah, Betty, you're gravely mistaken if you think you can have that axiom and the globe model at the same time. That very axiom is one of the reasons you can't really have Euclidean geometry on the globe model. There's no such thing. Globe model's gone the moment you start talking about Euclidean geometry and accepting it. So
he is talking about isosceles triangle, and horizontal line would be the baseline, but still it has to be straight line in this triangle. So no curve. So I don't know how someone can prove anything about the globe with this axiom.
It's what the globe model states, apparently. I don't know where that's wrote down, but hey, Betty said it, everybody. Betty says that, quoting Axiom 12, the triangle axiom, or as a lot of people call it, the fifth postulate, This is perfectly correct and is what the globe model states. Wow.
So it means for me that they are using this axiom to disprove the globe. This is only conclusion I can come to. I don't know. Maybe they like to disprove their model by using this axiom. I don't know. Maybe they like it, but using this axiom, they are disproving globe.
Yeah, I know. It's it's rather sweet, you know, when you see that, because their inability to understand geometry and the basic principles of mathematical thinking, right? The thought process that goes around mathematical thought is derived logically, and these guys obviously are lacking any sort of logical brain. The logical process, it just isn't there anymore. It's gone.
And Blue Marble Science is trying to defend himself that he is not talking about horizontal lines.
Yeah, he said, I didn't say anything about horizontals.
Yeah, and he didn't say even about verticals, because they are only zenith angles, but this zenith angle is created by vertical arm and horizontal arm, supposedly. So sorry, how can you talk about angles without lines? And in this drawing, these lines are verticals and horizontals. Sorry.
Yeah, he can't see the problem he has. And it's a fundamental, simple problem, which I'll try and give you a quick glimpse. He's implying that 90 degrees is sloping upwards from the zenith. But that means that on the other side, it's sloping downwards. And no, it can't be. It has to be sloping upwards on the other side also. Which would mean horizontals always sloping upwards. And if there's one thing we know about horizontals, is there's zero slope. Zero. That's why we measure verticals and horizontals. So you can't have a horizontal sloping when there's zero slope. That sounds very globe. I'm saying like that. No, that's how I'm going to use that word from now on. It's like, that sounds very globe. Meaning suspicious, right? Like you've just been handed a paralogism by somebody. And Blue Marble here apparently seems to think he can have sloping horizontals.
Maybe this is slope horizontal with zero slope, like curvature with zero curvature. So you can say that, but this is not very smart to say that this line is curved but has zero curvature.
Yeah.
So it means this is straight line, because on this straight line it has zero curvature. No, nonsense.
Yeah.
Just silly.
Right, so after stating that doing that with axiom 12, triangle axiom, he then brings Blue in. This is Beddy, Blue, not us. Beddy says this. So Beddy, Blue, gets rid of it. Axiom 12, parallel postulate. He said, you misspelled uses the reciprocal zenith experiment, the one that Blue's talking about. Experimentation, obviously. Blue Marble Science experiment, frantic bunny ears, uses the parallel postulate. How can you misunderstand it so badly? Says Beddy. Blue, within that experiment, the blue marble science experiment that you were documenting for the guy that may or may not live in Maine, and Jesse Kozlowski, the famous Jesse Kozlowski. Where is he now? No one knows. That one uses the parallel postulate. Did you really use the parallel postulate in that thing? Because I would say that's why the triangle is formed on the side with less than 180. Because it'd be impossible for you to have more than 180 on both sides. And it'd be impossible for you to have a triangle formed on the side that has more than 180 if you use the parallel postulate. So, Blue, is he right there that saying that you actually used the parallel postulate when you were documenting that blue marble science experiment? Because that'd be well established experiment, that. I mean, here's us. We've been here asking for proof or a method or some sort of a thing that we could actually do. And it appears that Beddy, maybe it's an accepted paralogism that he's just sort of spreading around, but Beddy seems to be under the impression that it was a reciprocal zenith experiment.
I cannot see experiment there, because it is impossible to perform that kind of experiment, let's say. Or
Well,
test.
angle measurements over 11 miles. Are you saying they can't measure angles?
Extraordinary experiment, I would say. But still, if Beddy is talking about Blue, that he is dismissing this parallel postulate, the only way that Blue did that is that he draw these parallel verticals and perpendicular horizontal on the left side, and this disproval would be drawing next drawing without parallel verticals, but drawing a picture or a drawing is not disproving, just drawing another picture with a triangle postulate inside. So I don't know how one can disprove another. Parallel postulate does not disprove triangle postulate. So I don't know how Blue could disprove anything by drawing just another picture. This is not disproval.
Everything's going perfectly to plan, like one of them following on. So thank you very much, Blue. And then somebody said they get rid of it. He says no, they use it. Get it right. So I think it was maybe me or you. We said, the difference between Euclidean geometry and not Euclidean geometry is the differing of, well, they like to pretend within their passed on paralogisms that they do just change one axiom, and that would be the triangle axiom. But Beddy apparently says that they don't. They use it. So now, within the globe model mathematics, they actually use the parallel postulate. It's news to everybody. Every globe logician, every globe geometer that there ever has been. Beddy's just rewrote it for you. You guys are stuck now using what they deem as the parallel postulate, but we call it the triangle axiom. It states that triangles have 180 degrees and have three straight sides. I mean,
but still, I'm wondering, they get rid of it, and Beddy says that no, they use it.
Yeah.
So
he's talking about Blue still using it.
Yes, I know. So again, you cannot disprove one postulate using another. So when he is using this parallel postulate on the left drawing and on the right drawing he is using triangle postulate, he does not disprove anything, because these two are not exclusive. They are describing two different situations. So, and he drew two different drawings.
Yeah.
So, just it. So, it does not disprove anything.
Right. Well, here we go. Don't forget about the paralogism bit, right? Purposely, I put these two together. I did this morning. It's perfect. So, Betty now says, which Blue is going to help us out with it too. It says, Blue's reasoning about reciprocal zenith angles is not faulty at all. And depends on Euclidean geometry. If line A and B intersect C, and if the internal angles add up to more than 180 degrees, then A and B cannot be parallel. That is an axiom of Euclidean geometry. Yeah, be sort of like a backwards way about thinking about the triangle axiom, because it states the triangle will be formed on the side with less than the sum of two right angles, i.e. the other side of the line.
Yes, and we were talking about that. And I said yesterday that you have to have curved horizontal for that.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise you cannot have verticals being parallel, and this line would be not horizontal at a point. So it has to be curved.
If those two lines are both verticals, then the line between them, if it is at 90 degrees, the horizontal, would have to be perpendicular to both. The line AB would geometrically have to be at 90 degrees, a right angle, because everybody knows vertical and horizontal are perpendicular. Blue,
Yes.
Blue isn't trying to say that they're not. Like, is he disproving? He's not trying to disprove the perpendicularity of vertical and horizontal, is he?
He has to, but still he is trying to go away with that. But in their model, they say that they are perpendicular at a point. So we have two points of perpendicularity for them, which is nonsense, but I am just repeating what they say. It means to have this right angles with two divergent verticals, you can achieve that only by curving horizontal. It is still not true, because on curved surface you cannot have this right angle, but this is another topic. But I am talking about their claim and their arguments, so-called arguments. So if we for a while back the question with them that they have perpendicularity from on both divergent verticals, this line between these verticals has to be curved. Has to be curved. There is no other way to keep perpendicularity in their reasoning, faulty reasoning. So they cannot get away from bendizontal. They cannot. They have to use bendizontal to defend perpendicularity.
Scared of saying it.
So this is, yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Right, so let's go over this, right? What Betty has just said. Remembering this is the proofless globe logician. Now he's saying that Blue's reasoning about reciprocal zenith angles is not faulty at all. Now zeniths are vertical, so vertical angles being measured from one place to another, you cannot say that the vertical is sloping backwards. That sort of reasoning within this whole process is faulty, definitely. If you're trying to imply that there is more than 180 degrees when you sum up the angles between a vertical and a vertical when you go across a horizontal.
Yes.
If you do that, then you've come to some faulty reasoning. But Beddy says it's not faulty. Now, what Beddy says is it depends on Euclidean geometry. Now, Beddy's trying to use the parallel postulate to disprove parallel verticals and parallel horizontals. It seems a little bit faulty conclusion there, like a massive stolen concept slapping you in the face, Blue. Beddy also. But what you and Beddy and Wally and everybody else is doing is you've come to a faulty conclusion and you've already thought that you don't need to look at this. You've got this is an existential crisis that you're going through. You've got existential cognitive veiling. You don't want to address the issues, the geometric issues of vertical and horizontal and the perpendicularity.
Yes, this is nonsense. You cannot, if he assumes that these verticals are divergent, he cannot use this parallel axiom. He cannot, because this is useless. So not this case. This is not this case. You are using parallel postulate when you are talking about parallel lines. So if someone is assuming that these lines are not parallel, he cannot use this axiom. He can
They
use
say they have
axiom.
no parallels. Right?
Yes,
They're trying to use a model that states there are no parallel lines and use a geometric a geometric axiom that states triangles will be formed on the side with less than 2 right angles, because the extra portion of those 2 right angles is made up on the 3rd angle, the triangle. 2 of them on the line that they're intersecting, and the 3rd one made up on the side with less than 2 right angles.
So maybe their confusion is deeper than we thought.
No, I think we've always known this. It's just gets so hard to talk to them about it.
But maybe they are confusing this parallel postulate with triangle postulate. Maybe they are confusing. They don't discern between them. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, they're using the other side. Like it's. But what about the side with more than 180? Well, like you can't prove diverging verticals with an axiom stated about triangles having 180 degrees. I mean, that's literally a paralogism. A parallelogism. Thanks, Asked. A parallelogism. There you go. How about that? So that what Beddy's trying to do there, he's trying to use like sophistry or sophisticated means to confuse people. Whether he's confused or not, it doesn't really matter. I don't think he is. I think Beddy's got a bit more knowledge than the rest of them. But I think because of Beddy saying these things, a lot of lower intellect people can actually take on this and imagine, a bit like Jesse Kozlowski when he implied stuff. Well, this is sort of similar to that. He's saying there's no faulty reasoning around a stolen concept fallacy.
Yes, but he is not. But he is not really defending this statement, because he should. If we say that Blue's reasoning is faulty, and we are pointing out where and why, so this is his burden of proof to disprove us. So he has to say something about our faulty reasoning about Blue's reasoning. But he's not doing that. He's just saying that this is not faulty. That's all. He
said that's an axiom. He's saying like, yeah, Blue, go ahead with the parallel postulate. Yeah, you just do it. Go for it, Blue. I mean, Beddy's not going to defend this. Blue's the one that's made the video. Blue's going to have to defend it. So, yeah, why not? Chuck Blue right in. Blue's balls deep in this now. Blue can't get out of it. Blue said some stupid shit. Blue's now got to defend something that's indefensible. He can't. So, yeah, he's putting there. And then Blue here, absolutely, he says, I thought you knew Euclid, Bev. I absolutely use the parallel postulate. So Blue does use Euclidean geometry, right? In his realizing of Euclid, Blue actually used the Euclidean postulate, the one that we call the triangle axiom. They want to call it the parallel postulate, but I mean, I'll leave it up to them how they derive parallel out of that. It's simply stating which side the triangle will be formed. No doubt Blue will explain that.
So really, he is confusing a parallel postulate with a triangle postulate. So sorry. So it means that he is geometrically illiterate.
Yeah, he's fallen for the trick. I think that's one of the original paralogisms, right? It's been received as a paralogism to call it the parallel postulate. Also call it fifth parallel postulate, as though there's only 5, which is ridiculous, because in my book I have 12 axioms and 3 postulates, totaling 15. So where did the other 10 go? Well, that's a magic trick. Don't talk about it. Just accept that one of them's called the parallel postulate, even though it doesn't mention parallels at all. And then you can also imagine that parallel isn't an actual definition within the definitions that comes before the axioms and postulates. Parallel is a definition. Can't do away with it, no matter how much anybody tries. And in the realizing of Euclid, it appears that Blue Marble actually accepts the parallel postulate. Not only does he do that, he tries to state that he uses it in his experiment. I'm not too sure about that. It's going a little bit far, but I mean, hey, if Blue Marble wants to do experiments with geometry, then Blue Marble science frantic bunny ears, shall be able to do experiments with geometry to hopefully, they're hoping to disprove Euclidean geometry using Euclidean geometry. They can't see it. It's one of the classic stolen concept fallacies that Wally has not bothered to show them. He's like, it's so easy to explain this to you, Blue. You can't use Euclidean geometry to disprove Euclidean geometry. You will really struggle.
And by the way, in these two drawings, he is using, let's say, or utilizing parallel postulate or axiom on the left side, where verticals are parallel and perpendicular to horizontal. So, but maybe he thinks that on the right side of this drawing, he's also using parallel postulate. Maybe he cannot realize that he's not using anymore this postulate because these lines are divergent. So he cannot use this postulate. He can use triangle postulate, but not parallel. So maybe he thinks that he is using a parallel postulate on both drawings. No, he is not.
Can you see what's on the screen? Like there's a Blue Marble Science.
Yes.
I think Mobius posted it. This was from Blue Marble Science's thing. Oh, Anti-Globe, well done. Thanks for coming in. I've got some for you. Well done. Hang around very soon. Well, what Blue Marble's got there, as a result of his Euclidean geometry principles, he's got a triangle that is made up as he has drawn it out by 3 horizontal lines. A vertical, you know, he's got a vertical triangle on the vertical plane established by 3 horizontal lines. That's fantastic. Unbelievable.
So,
absolutely impossible.
Horizontal line establishes vertical plane. Very good job.
3 horizontal lines establish a vertical triangle. Blue, you're marvellous. This is one of the consequences of you trying to apply Euclidean geometric principles into your drawing verticals and horizontals on it. You're screwed. We've got far better people. We've got Mobius. We've got Saragaki. The logical proofs are already wrote. You can't get around it. Started off with the first one about horizontals being parallel. You've messed up on that one. Now, look at this. This is the result. Blue Marble has had to come out because everybody's been teaching Blue Marble their paralogisms about what must happen on the globe model. Now, as we keep saying, we're not talking about a model. We are just talking about in reality and using basic logic and basic geometry to prove the link between Euclidean geometry and reality. We call it Realising Euclid. And you can do that many ways. Looks like Blue Marble has used the parallel postulate to realise some of his own Euclid, which is so good. Thank you very much, Blue, for stating that you use Euclidean geometry and particularly the triangle axiom, or as you call it, the parallel postulate. Triangles only having 180 degrees, right, Blue? So good to hear. We're finally getting along.
Especially parallel triangles.
Yeah. And so this one. And Blue Marble states again, tripling down. He states, it's your own fault if you can't recognise Euclid's 5th postulate. I knew you guys weren't too bright, but it's actually much worse than I thought. Now, I'd love to say this, right? You Blue, you don't realise how big a play you've just been had performed upon you. Everybody else has been running from doing exactly what you've done. You've opened up the biggest can of worms that you could ever do. Oh, look, here's even whatever's here to defend. This is exquisite. This is as good as it gets. Blue Marble states that the parallel postulate is what he used in his Blue Marble science experiment, zenith angle experiment. Angles are geometric. He's going to experiment with geometry to find out that he's trying to shift geometries over. He doesn't know what he's doing at the minute. But welcome to the big game, Blue. You may not have been aware of the mind games that have been played on just about everybody with basic geometric concepts, but you're going to find out. And I hope you can keep your mind together. I hope you don't lose it. Whatever's scared to listen. I don't blame you, whatever. You've dropped Blue in it. You and the boys. The PAC, as we call it, the Paralogism Advisory Council. Blue Marble's been dropped in it. He hopes now that all of the paralogisms he's been handed, the people that handed him to Blue Marble Science, Frantic Bunny is, the people that have given him these, he's going to be hoping and praying that they actually can produce those sort of things. People like you, whatever. People like WS in the background. I know, yeah. Harry Scott. Chaiki. Brenda. Rumpus. Time to play the game, guys, because Blue Marble's dropped himself in it. We've been up here trying to talk about this basic geometry for a long time. And what happens with this sort of stuff is that people end up saying, well, they listen to these people saying them, and they listen to me saying the stuff that I say. But it's been developed that the story's been told, the narrative has been laid down, that Bev doesn't know anything about geometry, and Bev doesn't know anything about logic, and Bev doesn't know anything about arguments, and Bev doesn't know anything about anything, really. So anything that Bev says must be wrong, which leaves me in the position as to whether to actually say certain things. But I guess you have to, really. You have to point out the problems within this. And this is one of the problems that occurs. So we've been on Twitter today doing my job and doing what I do, pointing out this argument to people. We have a nice GIF if you want to take the GIF about all horizontal planes being parallel. Feel free. Pointing out to people. It's a beautiful little argument. Try it out with anybody. See what the action is. Now, because of the paralogisms that these guys sort of lay out, Beddy, he sort of says no, but then seems to agree with it, which is one of the methods they have. But see, now this guy, anti-psychopath, who I did notice in the chat earlier on, hope you're still hanging around, listening in, hate watching, anything. He says, no, your premise is false, that if all horizontals are parallel to the plane of the horizon. He says that's false. He says horizontal isn't a straight line. It's an arc of a circle intersecting a sphere. What do you think about that?
No way.
Yeah.
So this is not concentric circle. because if this circle, it should, on their model, should be concentric with this center of the Earth.
Yeah, this guy doesn't
supposedly.
understand what pi is and
Yes,
how
I
pi is
think
derived.
he's just don't understand what he's talking about.
Yeah, it's geometrically illiterate people, right? Can imagine that like people like Betty and Blue and Rumpus and Brenda and Wally and all of these people say, well, they don't really say anything about proof. They just sort of say, no, not that. Well, this guy makes his own paralogism up, right? This is what this is the result of these people saying stupid things. There are now people out there that say that horizontal isn't a straight line. I mean, how ridiculous do you want to get it? Anytime you want to comment again, anti-psychopath, let us know on Twitter how it's going.
I think that he misspoke. I think that he meant to write horizon isn't a straight line, because he is saying that go higher and horizon drop curve are observed. So I think that he is confusing horizontal with horizon here. I think so. Maybe I am mistaken.
Well, I mean, maybe. He did delete the tweet afterwards. But, I mean, obviously I got a screenshot of it. And there's many times that they have to back up things like this. But, I mean, this guy is only saying that because somebody has... well, one... he's allowed himself to be able to accept these paralogisms from shadow giants, right? He's just received opinion. He's got no way of forming a conclusion himself because he doesn't have the geometric understanding at all, it appears. But he's obviously heard that from someone and he's just regurgitating it because it's an argument against... well, against the statement about horizontal being parallel, all horizontals being parallel. That's a complete defense against that one statement, the argument. This is the result. They have to imagine that horizontals aren't straight, bendizontal. That's where they have to go. But you're not normally allowed to say it. This guy did. He slipped up, right? Isn't that right, anti-psychopath? You got told to take it down, didn't you? The Paralogism Advisory Council said, you've gone one step too far there. You can't say that horizontals aren't straight. You just have to imply it. Without actually saying it. Because... there are no horizontals on the globe model. They don't exist. At least straight horizontals, natural, existential horizontals.
Established by physical tools.
Yeah. They do actually exist, and you can prove them as well. By showing that the water does not flow. It is static. Can be proved, can be done, and obviously shown. But I would consider these tests geometric, therefore not experiments. It's not an experiment if you are establishing a horizontal plane. That's not an experiment. At least not in my mind, anyway. It's already been established.
No, this is not experiment.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't say that you should be measuring angles or doing anything to do with the horizontal plane to establish that the horizontal plane doesn't exist. It's sort of a stolen concept fallacy, right?
But still, experiment is doing something with something to cause something. So you are causing something to observe some phenomenon you observed previously. So if you are trying to recreate this phenomenon, you are searching for cause. What causes that phenomenon? And you are trying. And if you found this cause, you are just using this cause to recreate phenomenon. This is experiment in science, in physics.
Yeah, I've got one for you, right? Imagine let's say a 400-meter water level. Now it's got its two verticals with the vials on either side. Give it a measuring thing, right? And you put a mark once they've set, put a mark on them, and then you put 10 mils in one side, and then watch with cameras on both ends to see. And how long do you reckon it'd take for it to equalize?
I really don't know. I think it would start to equalize immediately.
Would you call that an experiment?
Yes, that would be yes. Because you are causing a phenomenon.
Yeah.
This equalizing is observed phenomenon.
Would you like to see that? I would. Now that I say it, I think that would be good to see. Whether that difference can be equalized depending on how big the tube is. I don't think it's got anything to do with the size of the tube, though, to be honest. That's what makes it fascinating for me. But yeah, we could do that. We could do it with 800 meters. We could do it with 1600 meters if we can get enough of us together with our water levels and our meetups. We could call it level experimentation at the side of the canal.
Yeah, that would be really experiment. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So we've established that we can do stuff. Get on it. So these guys, I'd say that this guy has come to this conclusion in order to say this, right? He must imagine that there's something going on there that although he has never seen this, he's never done it. He doesn't even have the geometric understanding for what he's saying. But he's allowed himself to be able to say it. The perfect example of a paralogism. But a paralogism that's wrapped up within geometric understanding. And because it's wrapped up in geometric understanding, then it's deductive. You can definitely prove it. And these guys can't. There's no logical link between their paralogisms and reality. You can't perform these geometric paralogisms in reality. You can only use them within a sort of sophistry type way, but you can only employ sophistry if you actually know the truth. You can't be a sophist with paralogisms. You're just a fool spouting nonsense, showing everybody how how geometrically illiterate you actually are, and not only geometrically illiterate, logically illiterate. No understanding of anything, but a great imagining that they have some sort of a hold over you. This guy imagines that he's talking to me as a flat earther, right? And he's now saying that horizontals aren't straight. It's what every global will have to do. That's why they don't come and talk to us. They have to go to this. At some point, the globe mind has to enter this paradox. Can't get away from it. Like we know. We've looked into it. The logic derived by a model that's non-existent obviously has illogical consequences. I don't like see what else have we got. Oh, we've got this one here right now. I have to go over this one. This is Mike Jones again. Mike Jones doing some brilliant work. So I showed this. Stephen Jones says, who's so called Never Triggered. It says, can you show any contradictions that Betty made, Bev? Saying he is a proofless is kind of funny, though, since you have no proof. We do call him the proofless. And I now call him the proofless, contradictory globe logician.
Yes, proofless logician is an oxymoron. So, because logic is based, the purpose of logic is to produce proofs. So if someone is proofless logician, it means that he is not logician.
Right, so then he asks for proof of Betty's contradictions. I post 2 images. I've got them here in the background. We'll go to them in a minute. And this is purely Mike. In conversations, because once you come into this Discord server, you will learn an art that we've developed of how to talk to people. And once you enter this Zen zone through conversations, Mike Jones is getting there, you can sort of spot the contradictions within the replies, because they have to. Their whole model is built upon contradictions, and they have to have all the. That's why we have the diletheist idea, and that's where that came from, shown to us by Brenda. And then he says, right, this isn't a contradiction. At any point between 2 points is vastly different. To be contradiction, you need to tell me that a tangent and a chord are the same thing. Please do that. I don't know what he's talking about with that. So here we go. This statement 1 made by Betty to Mike Jones. He says, the visible horizon at any point is horizontal. We agree. He could be getting technical, but I take it whenever they were talking about the visible horizon, he's talking about the true horizon, i.e. that over water. Not like a topographic horizon, because that would be ridiculous.
So yes, horizon is horizontal because it is like a circle being round. So yes, it is.
Yeah. Right. And then now, here, this one, he says, so you imagine the horizon is not horizontal between and including any 2 points. And he says, correct. Finally, you get it. I'm done. Also, thanks for conceding at last. So you imagine the horizon is not horizontal between and including any 2 points. It's a contradiction.
Yes, previously he agreed that horizontal is that horizon is horizontal.
Yeah.
And now he is contradicting. Yes,
Yeah.
this is contradiction.
So that's within this conversation. So he says, can you show any contradictions that Betty made? And I put this and show him those two things, which are obvious contradictions of Betty's statements about the horizon to Mike Jones. And then he says, Stephen Jones says, that isn't a contradiction. Now, this is the first sign of knowing that you are talking to a dialetheist. A dialetheist is somebody, for want of a better word, just can't see contradictions, can't see blatant contradictions. And I don't know whether you've ever talked to people like this or ever tried to have a discussion, or like they imagine they're having a debate, but can you even try and imagine talking to somebody that can't see an obvious contradiction?
I would say that they see contradiction, but they cannot name it contradiction because they don't believe this is contradiction. This is their disbelief in contradiction.
Yeah.
Because you cannot logically process that and logically state that this is not contradiction, because obviously it is.
So accepted paradox.
Yes, so it has to be some kind of belief or disbelief. I don't know.
Yeah, this is the problem that they come into, right? They have to come into this contradiction. And what a contradiction is a paradox. Something that contradicts itself. You can't do away with the law of non-contradiction by accepting a contradiction as just being a not contradiction, just because you want it to not be a contradiction. It's a little bit ridiculous, but I mean this is the position that not logic and not geometry and blue marble science, frantic bunny ears, right? They've been taught this. Blue marble science, frantic bunny ears, is all about this sort of dialetheist science, where you have to accept contradictions. Rob Parks, the guy that the professor, that Blues Mate, he says they have contradictory definitions. They go way beyond the paradoxes and all of that. They just have contradictory definitions within blue marble science. He stated it.
Yes, that's really sad. And he is professor of some kind of science, I think. So it means that this is sad about. They shouldn't use word science. He should say, in our wizardry, we have these paradoxes, these paralogisms, these contradictions. Take it as it is. This is our wizardry. Then I would agree. Okay, this is wizardry. We know that how wizards operates. No logic, no consequence, and so on. Just a story. But please don't call it science.
Sending Mike Jones messages in the background. Shout out Mike Jones. All of this stuff is because just conversating with people, you can spot and draw out the dialetheists by showing that they have contradictory thoughts, statements. So they just, with Beddy, I think he's just willing to be able to say anything contradictory. I don't actually think he believes it. He has the power to be able to just say it and hold it as just a sort of statement. But what he does in saying it, he sort of implies it, and everybody else takes it on. He's like a preacher that doesn't really believe what he's preaching, but other people believe it because they imagine that Beddy's the high priest of globe logic, the proofless globe logician, as we call him. It's right, he's got nothing. And it's a shame, but what can you do? Hey, he's going to keep doing what he does. And Blue Marble Science is the latest to take up the baton. But he's got people helping him. Blue, I'm pretty sure. Whatever. The council. Plato Chips will probably come and help you if he's heard of you. Blue Marble Science. Get on Twitter. You might have a few followings. Got Chikey. So people that I talk to daily, there's not many people like this, I don't think. I think they've made themselves into one of the smallest groups of people ever. Although they imagine that they have a great following. I'm not aware of many people that are willing to say that horizontals aren't straight. And anybody that has the mental capacity to convince somebody else that something is straight, but not straight. And you don't understand what straight is and what not straight is. Yeah, I keep saying, we love you people out there. And this, for us, I think, the group of people that we have, we are challenged by some things that people say to you. So you then progress yourself in pursuit of knowledge. And most of the knowledge that we're coming up with at the minute, or most of the questions I've been asking myself and asking quite a lot of people is like, how much more mental can we get these people to say stuff? I mean, like, how crazy is it going to get? And you normally say, well, it can't really get much more crazy than this. And then Blue Marble makes a video about a stolen concept that's right in front of his face, but he can't see it because he's a diletheist. He can't see contradictions. He can't see fallacies. He has them inbuilt into his entire being within the ethos of the model. And it's a shame. It's a shame that they picked Blue. And it's a shame as well that Beddy, he imagines that he is this logic teacher. He's documenting everything for us. So we'd hope that he might be able to come and have a conversation and teach us a bit of his logic. But I don't think he has the ability to pass on this paraconsistent logic, as I would call it. Oh, I think I've got a blue marble message. Whoa. Oh wow. Let me get this. Right. This is new, hot off the press. Message from Blue Marble Science. Right, okie dokie. I'll put these in the chat for you. Brand new message. Boom, look at that. I will read this out to everybody. It says, Mr. Sensible has agreed to host a debate on his channel over whether level is horizontal or not, and whether all horizontals are parallel to the plane of the horizon. Here's a first cut at my proposed rules and definitions. Sounds like it's been worked out. It says, debate rules and definitions. Mr. Sensible has agreed to host a debate between the two of us. I'll debate you on the idea that level is horizontal. I suggest the following format. Each of us will have an initial 10-minute period to present our prospective proofs. 2. Following the initial presentations, we will have an open discussion period, again, limited to the topic of level and horizontal. Following the initial presentations, we will have an open discussion period, again, limited to the topic of level and horizontal. Questions from the chat can be interjected and appropriately directed by Mr. Sensible, with the party not being addressed having a follow-up period to offer a rebuttal as desired. Rules and definitions. Conduct will be as professional as possible. Professional? Professional what? Professional YouTubers? I hope so. Does that make me a professional YouTuber? Jolly good. Math, geometry, trigonometry, or other sciences. Maths, geometry, and trigonometry apparently are sciences. Wow.
They are generally one science.
Mm-hmm. Sciences, other ones, right? So maths, geometry, and trigonometry, they obviously definite, we know what they are, or others. Do you know what the other sciences may be used to support any claim of evidence or proof, but will not stand alone as evidence or proof of the level horizontal relationship in question? Huh?
Maybe physics, not to mention, but maybe physics.
See, we're not finished. Goes on. The terms vertical, plumb, or zenith shall be considered synonymous and shall indicate the direction of the gravity vector.
No. Sorry, this is begging the question. He demands you to beg the question.
Yeah, he wants to put gravity in there. But I'm happy with that, right? Vertical. If he wants to link vertical to gravity, that's him. Right? Vertical is vertical. Everybody knows that. Not to a center. Right? Vertical is geometric, it's a straight line. Perpendicular.
But if gravity could be considered as like in plumb line, as going downwards, not to the center point, but just to underneath the earth, which is observed, then yes, maybe yes, but still not this model afflicted gravity, pseudo-Newtonian gravity, because it implies the model. So on that, I would not agree at all. That would be begging
You
the question.
can't agree, and I'll tell you why you can't agree, because of term 4. He says, the term horizontal shall be constructed to mean at right angles to vertical, plumb, or zenith. You can't have the two. He's going to end up contradicting himself.
So yes, this is classical begging the question.
Yeah.
So it is not allowed in real debate, because you will have to agree with his conclusion.
Yeah.
At start. So this is just nonsense.
Well, you listen to the next one, right? Because once you add those two together, then you end up with the full great paralogism, right? Which is level shall be construed to mean equipotential points above or below a specified recognized datum, such as mean sea level, the ellipsoid, or the geoid.
No,
He's bent his ontold.
yes, so this is just no. So why these points above? So he is just erasing these points to be discussed, because he's literally stating that you have to agree with his conclusions and his argumentations. So this is not debate. Debate is,
Yeah.
it has to be discourse between your argumentation and his argumentation.
Yeah, maybe that's what he's going to be saying, what he thinks. We know that. I mean, that's what he thinks.
Yes, but he is insisting that you should at start to agree with that. So if you agree with that, there is no debate. I don't know. This is.
He says third-party videos are not permitted without the express permission of the owner of the material. No music will be allowed. I don't know why that would be. He's meant to be having a debate, right? Why is he using third-party videos? I don't get it. Unless he's talking about if we use the claims of Jesse Kozlowski and stuff like that. And then he says, citations will be provided for any claims made. Claims not supported by citation may be dismissed out of hand. What does he mean by citation?
I think that he will try to dismiss your modus ponens because maybe there is no citation for that. So, but this is not, that would be not rebuttal, really, because it has to be a logic rebuttal, which is, of course, impossible. And that kind of statements should not be cited. It's like to citation for 2 + 2 = 4. Citation, please. Nonsense. Citations, yes, they are required where in right place, but not for all. For logical statement or argument, opponent cannot demand citation for argument. He has to refute argument stated by the opponent by himself. Not this is part of debate. This is crucial part of debate, to argue against someone's argument, not against someone's citation in argument.
Yeah.
So,
So
claim.
Blue, would you be saying that you would require the citations for these terms that you are going to use? I presume that you would be bringing them forward, the citations for these claims that you seem to make about level, horizontal, and vertical. Because, I mean, I definitely come with my citations as in definitions of those terms. Because that's what I do. Because if that's the thing, we define our terms at the beginning, each of us.
But he's not talking about terms. He's talking citations will be provided for any claims, and claims, it means arguments. So this is nonsensical demand, because what you can bring as citation of argument, your argument is to be attacked by opponent. So I don't know. This is nonsense for me. Citations for claims. I don't know what he means. Because literally, as it is written, it doesn't make any sense. Citations are not required for claims. They are required for definitions and that kind of stuff, but not for claims. Claim is the statement you are opening and defending, and the opponent is attacking your claim. So I don't know what he means, but it doesn't make any sense.
On that level is horizontal. Would that be the claim, right?
Yes, this is claim. And how can you cite what citation?
You could cite a definition, couldn't you, of
Yes,
level and horizontal being linked together.
Yes, but in dictionary you have defined separated terms. But this claim you are making, you are linking them into argument. This is claim. So what citation would you bring us to support your claim? It means that your claim would be not your claim, but someone else, like authority claim.
Yeah, you're just citing something else that somebody else has said.
Yes.
Ridiculous.
That this is not your argument, but some authority's argument.
Here's the argument I'm bringing. Here's the proof that somebody else has already used this argument.
It's a level spheroid.
I don't know. Has he put that in it?
Well, no, he said that level is a spheroid. Level conforms to a spheroid. So what's a level spheroid is my question. Is he going to demonstrate a level spheroid?
Level shall be construed to mean equipotential points above or below a specified recognized datum, such as a mean sea level, the ellipsoid, or the geoid.
All right, ellipsoid. What's a level ellipsoid?
Yeah, what's it look like, Blue? Will you be citing that?
Yeah, I'd like to see a level ellipsoid.
Because you know how it's measured, right? Elevations are measured, Blue. I take it you do. define vertical. I'll do that in the debate, Blue, if that's what you want to do. Start off at the beginning with us defining everything right down from the beginning, right, to make everything as simple as we possibly can to build it up. I'm willing to do that. If that's what you want to do, you lay out your terms, I'll lay out my terms in the allotted time at the beginning, and then we'll discuss that as we go forwards. I'll tell you, Blue, mine will be dead simple. It will be completely Euclidean principles. You know what arguments I'm going to be bringing with level, horizontal, vertical, perpendicular, and Euclidean proofs to back it up. Practical proofs, physical, right? You can do them. You can do them in reality. If you want to carry on doing that and you want to take the opposing position that isn't, then yeah, I'm willing to do that. Mr. Sensible's channel. Tilting verticals, sloping horizontals. Sounds great. Only possible. So globe-like. So globe. So globe. That's a good one, eh? That's a good slogan. Yeah. Sloping horizontals of the globe model. I know we've been going over it for a bit, Blue, where you stated that you did have a proof that level is not horizontal. So I'm hoping that's what you're going to be bringing in this level horizontal debate. It's a big debate, full-on debate. I'm liking it. What does everybody else think of that? Think you can handle a debate of level and horizontal? Have you thought this through, Blue? Really? Are you sure? It's time, yeah. Get the team together. We'll go into work. Basically, what you want me to do is, in a live performance, you want me to give the level is horizontal proof as simply as I can to get as many people to understand it. I'm liking it. I'm up for it. I'm up for it. I hope you are too, Blue. Yeah, definitely not nervous, Blue. I'm ready for this. Born ready. Put the kettle on. Why Mr. Sensible though? Why what makes Mr. Sensible the hot ticket at the minute? That seems a bit weird, doesn't it? Sorry, go on, paper.
No, I just wondering about this level shall be construed to mean equipotential points above or below a specified recognized datum such as mean level, the ellipsoid or geoid, because datum such as mean sea level level is what has level to do with mean sea level?
It's a vertical datum. That's what Blue's getting confused with. He thinks a vertical datum has a shape rather than just being a datum on the vertical. So it only has one axis.
Yes, so all levels would be parallel to each other. So I don't know why he's insisting on this mean sea level. It is meaningless for me.
Blue, you sound desperate, man. What's up with you? You've never been like this before. Slow down. Give chance for you guys to catch up.
And I don't know, I don't understand this point 4. The term horizontal shall be construed to mean at right, to mean what? What mean? At right angles to vertical, plumb, or zenith. But zenith, if it is divergent zenith, it means that vertical is divergent. And plumb is divergent, if it is assumed. So, and this
Sloping
is point
horizontals.
Yes, but these points cannot be constructed with begging the question, with demanding begging the question from other side. So I would disagree on that point, because it is your position is your position. So of course, terminology is important because it implies your argumentation. So you cannot construct your argument with a contradictory terminology. So it has to be clarified, this terminology at first, as the first point, because and then you can argue, but I don't see how it would work with these definitions. I don't know. Maybe we'll come to some consensus. Maybe, I don't know.
Blue's got some skills. He showed us that he took the water level drawing from Wiki and modified it, Blue Marble Science, this one day. So he starts off with it, he just adds a middle one and puts it a bit higher, completely disregarding normal physics, science. This is showing that Blue Marble Science, and he says that's better, because that makes him feel better, adding a bit of frantic bunny ears, Blue Marble Science to it. And then he realised that wasn't enough because it didn't show enough. So what he did was he put a little bit there and he wrote Earth curve and showed it like a vertical measurement of Earth curve. Literally, he labelled it Earth curve. And then again put there, that's better. But obviously realised that he didn't go far enough and didn't explain it enough. So he did this, and this is proper full on a Blue Marble Science. Frantic when he is. He not only did he lift the middle one, he then drew an arc and says follows Earth curve, but he tilted the plumb lines at either end of the water level from the one in the centre. So he made 3 different plumb lines, as well as putting the hump in the middle.
That's why, and he is talking about me, that I am embarrassing you.
Yeah.
But no, he is begging the question with these plumb lines, and he's assuming that they are divergent. So you don't need to agree with that. And so his points are very vague. Not clear. I would say that it has to be clarified.
Yeah, this is blue marble science. I'm pretty sure that these will be the citations that blue marble science will be bringing to his water level. Like he's just adopted a picture from Wiki to show some ridiculous shit that Wiki didn't even show. This is how you do blue marble science. You first take an image from Wiki about a water level, doctor it, show something that you want to make it show, and then work from there. That's your conclusion. Like, you show everybody how you do science and logic. You do it backwards to end up at this and put even better. Like, there, that's better. No, that's better. No, wait a minute. That's even better. Even better at easing people's paralogisms.
But this is just a drawing, nothing to do with reality.
No, reality has to do with all of the elevation profiles. Are you sure you still want to do this, Blue? Seems a bit... Well, I don't know. They're not setting you up. Some sort of humiliation ritual? Possibly. I think it might be Blue's turn on the humiliation. Get up to the next level. Have you got a nervous giggle again, Blue? This is me having fun. I really do hope you want to do this, Blue. You're still up for it. Because it's like, it's not as if you don't know my argument. I haven't got a clue what you're going to say. How could you?
That's why I am slightly surprised, because Blue, of course, knows very well your argument, your baseline, your terminology, your background or backup. So that's why I am slightly surprised why he constructed that points of terms in this debate, because he shouldn't. They are redundant. It is pointless, because he knows what you are thinking about level, horizontal, verticals, etc. So
yeah, he knows the proof we can bring for the statements that we make.
Yes, but he said that that in debate that would be the claim, and citation for that. So nonsense. That's you could ask him for his citations. So I don't know. He would bring maybe wiki pictures, but this is not citation really.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've got most of them talking about horizontal water levels. But I suppose McToon goes with the hump as well. Or does he go with the drop? Don't know. I think we've got Blue talking about the hump, but the slope as well. If only we had Rumpus to explain in his video how the hump and the drop are the same, to explain the contradiction. Then I'm sure everything can be resolved.
But it is impossible. It will never happen.
Yeah, Mike Mike Jones has got here, right? This is an elevation profile of the Panama Canal with each the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific, with the locks and the elevations. Right now, it says underneath it there, horizontal scale and vertical scale. So here, got it blown up for you. It says horizontal scale. So there is a scale within this particular elevation profile that states it's horizontal. Now, this was done before GPS. This canal. It's way back in the 1800s.
So if it is 1 to 400,000, it means that if it were bendizontal, it should curve on this picture. Definitely.
Yep. It would have to. But it doesn't. It's horizontal. Just goes to show. All elevation profiles, every one of them, will have the same thing. Now, make that what you will. Make of that what you will. They are the facts. Don't get upset at other people because you imply something. But you cannot get around the fact that these elevation profiles for centuries have been drawn like this. Can't be saying that they're wrong. Blue marble. Are you sure?
With this scale, they should exhibit very, very clear curvature. And at least it would be mentioned.
Yeah, it would have little star above the horizontal scale, right?
Yes.
And then a little marker down at the bottom.
Yes, and some footnote. This horizontal is bendizontal. It is drawn straight to for the practical purposes, but really it is bendizontal. But there is no footnote here about that. This is horizontal as normal horizontal, straight.
I don't think that's the real blue marble science. I think that's somebody who's making him look bad. Does somebody want to check? It can't really be blue. I'm not thinking that. I don't know what he's doing. Yeah, we've rumbled you. You can't go around making blue marble look like a dick. Blue marble wouldn't use the term biatch. It's not something I can see happening. Hillybillies don't use language like that, do they?
Or maybe he is really losing his temper. I don't know.
He said Mobius ran from him, but Mobius was the one that had the debate, didn't he? Where he exposed blue marble as doing his little giggling tells. That was ridiculous, Blue. I know you claimed victory afterwards, but that was only for your for your people, right? You have to feign that. You must have been reeling. Yeah. See, Eric knows. Has he forgotten that he actually did talk to you, Mobius? I don't know what's going on there. He might have been forgetful. He might have wiped it from his memory. Hey, might be part of his cognitive veiling. He's just like forgotten about it. Blue, can you remember you did have a chat with Mobius?
Like 5 hours?
Yeah. Never mind, Blue. You can relive it at any time you want. I think he even had to go at Mike as well. He wanted Mike Jones in. Blue Marble wanted to have a debate with Mike, and Mike said he'd concede to everything. All Blue had to do was show his case. Perhaps we might get to see that Blue Marble's proof that level isn't horizontal. Oh, you've remembered now then. Well, so you remember that you did actually have a conversation with Mobius then. How could he be running from you if he had a 5-hour conversation with you now that you've remembered that again? Yeah, we'll go over all of them sort of things. We can go over if it's a fallacy or contradictions, because I think that's what we could actually do. We could go over contradictions that we actually see within other people and know that they can't have them themselves. I mean, as contradictions. Yeah, I'm thinking that'll be good, Blue, but we'll have to sort out exactly what you mean by the terms. I'm fine for actually going from conception of getting as simple as we can. Advanced simplicity. Start from the beginning and work up from there. And from the beginning, I can do it from a straight line. Geometrically, because that would be the way I'd be working. Giving proofs of every step of the way. I can even give you definitions to lead up to, if you want, for the reasons why we use the definitions that we use. When I say we, I mean us, me. That's what I'll be talking about. Just my proof. I hope that's not what you're going to go with. You're not going to go with the elevations being a curved horizontal. Blue, are you? Curved straight line? I don't know. I'm looking forward to it though, Blue. Don't tell us. Save it. And you're saying it's our choice or a venue? I don't know. We'll have to get our people together, Blue. We'll get together. We'll sort it out. where, i.e., venue, format, all of that. I'm up for it. Blue marble science versus it's a bit too much to put me up against an entire branch of science. But I guess I'm up for it.
I think that would be very good opportunity. Again.
Yeah, I think so. Give me a chance to improve my rhetoric and come up with the yeah. We'll sort out the terms and stuff of the actual debate, Blue, where the venue, where format, where timing. I'm thinking it's a big yes, about 95% yes from me. Still fascinated by the elevations of LIGO. I'm liking it. So, what time are we at? 11:37. That's been it's been a good night tonight. My lad got his computer science award, and we've come back and we've gone over a few paralogisms, shown a few geometric, call them consequences of a fictional model, and the new science that's been developed around that, and the fact that these new scientists think that they can use their science to mess about with geometry. Fascinates me.
They cannot mess with the geometry because they say that science does not prove. So, and they have proofless logicians, so they cannot disprove Euclid because they have no tools for that. If they are proofless and science does not prove anything, so it means that they have no weapon to dismiss Euclid and real science. But I don't know how they are trying to do that.
It's good. And yes, Blue, I accept. I would enjoy it very much. Also, thanks for your video. I think we could probably use that to show how the stolen concept fallacy works, together with your revealing of the using the Euclidean concepts. In fact, I would say the kingpin of the entire geometric structure of Euclidean geometry is the triangle axiom. And it's good to see that you accept it all by it being in a different name form. But it is the same thing. It's the triangle axiom. So now we can get round to showing our proofs where we realize Euclid in reality. I don't envy Blue, but I relish the task of me being able to go at this. Okay, anybody else got any final bits? We'll cut this short again. I want to say we'll cut it short. It's about that time. Started a little bit late. Anybody got any final words? No. Never mind. Okay. Tomorrow it is.
Yeah, I couldn't get.
Oh, go on.
I couldn't get to the shit fast enough. My phone was on the other side of the shop. I'm like super late. I had a bit of an issue, you guys. So I did a thing, and apparently Nathan had like a 5-hour show today. I know you guys probably don't listen to too much Nathan anymore, but I still love Nathan. So it was 5 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, he hasn't had one of them in a long time. So anyways, I listened to the whole thing, and yeah, it was actually a pretty good show. And then I came here, and you want to shut down our radio. Fuck.
Yeah, sorry about that. I mean, it is.
Nah,
it's
all
Free
right.
for All
I missed the
Friday
whole
tomorrow.
show.
Free for All Friday,
Yeah,
so we can go over all of those things anytime you want to come in with anything. That I mean, we did hear a bit of Nathan. You must be a member.
I am a member.
Yeah, we only heard the normal stuff.
I've been a member here for 18 months. I've been a member at Nathan's for about 38 months.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
I heard the bit of the rant that he was on, and I don't know what's going on there. I was left with the question of what did Dave Weiss do? But I mean, like, did that carry on into the after show?
Yes. And then some dude coming in claiming to be a Christian told Nathan he should be nicer to people. He'd get more views. Like, we haven't heard that before. Anyways, but no, I think the thing with Dave Weiss is backing the actual scammers, like Witsit Gets It and Jared Campanella and Bob from Globusters, who they aren't actually busting any globes.
What, Witsit from Geos?
Yeah.
I think Dave Weiss is backing that.
Yeah, Dave Weiss is backing all of them. They were going over Witsit's debate with some Bryant guy in the after show. Anyways, we can get into it tomorrow.
Yeah, go over that. Yeah, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, no, it was a great after show. So I don't know if maybe I can pull it up somehow for you guys one of these days or something. We'll figure it out.
Well, we can just talk about it tomorrow. Yeah, so there's interesting stuff. People be ready for that tomorrow. Free for All Fridays. That's the bit where we discuss all of the stuff that's gone on during the week. So anytime anybody wants to come over here, that's the time. Free for all discussions tomorrow. I don't know what did I get on Buster Song? No, I didn't.
All right, I'll be on YouTube listening to Buster.
Okie. Greatest speech. Okie. Thanks a lot. Join us tomorrow. Free for All Fridays. And thanks for joining us today. Yes, we will get that set up, Blue. Forward to that. Debate time again.
You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate, only the unloved hate. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Let us fight to free the world. Let us all unite. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men, machine men with machine minds and machine hearts. Let us fight to free the world. Soldiers, don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, or what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines, you are not cattle, you are men. You are men. Let us fight to free the world. You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate, only the unloved hate. The unloved and the unnatural. Soldiers, don't fight for slavery, fight for liberty. In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men, in you. You, the people, have the power. The power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world. A decent world that will give men a chance to work, that will give youth a future and old age a security. By the promise of these things, brutes have risen to power, but they lie. They do not fulfill that promise. They never will. Dictators free themselves, but they enslave the people. Now let us fight to fulfill that promise. Let us fight to free the world. Let us fight to free the world. Let us fight for a world of reason. A world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all unite. Let us fight to free the world. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world. You, the people, have the power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world. In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men, in you. You, the people, have the power. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. By the promise of these things, brutes have risen to power, but they lie. They do not fulfill that promise. They never will. Let us fight to fulfill that promise. Let us fight to free the world. Let us fight to free the world. Let us fight for a world of reason. A world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all